Earlier this year, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 reached over 15 million users, the biggest audience flight sim has ever had. And that's not just users either. There was over 1 billion flight sessions logged, with 230 million of those in the last 6 months. And with this explosion of users came a huge influx of add-ons, almost 5,000 since launch. Now you'd think with numbers like this, we'd be seeing add-on prices dropping to capture this massive new audience. Looking at the marketplace today, most aircraft add-ons cost between $19 and $38, with even complex aircraft from newer developers often launching around $44. But PMDG consistently prices their aircraft at the top end of the market, with their latest 777 freighter releasing at $54.99. And while PMDG has usually commanded premium prices, what's interesting is how their pricing strategy has evolved. You see, back in 2019, PMDG's 777 package for P3D cost $139.99, but that included both passenger and freighter variants. However, today in Microsoft Flight Simulator, to get both variants, you're looking at $129.98. It's a strategy that's raising eyebrows across the community, especially when newer developers are taking a completely different approach. And if you think this is just about one aircraft, wait until you see what's happening behind the scenes with flight sim development costs, market competition, and how other developers are completely changing the game. Hey everyone, James from FS Reviews here. Today we're breaking down exactly what PMDG's latest release tells us about the future of flight sim pricing and why it matters even if you never plan to buy their products. So to understand what's happening here, we have to go back all the way to 2015 to see how the market has changed. Back in the P3D days, PMDG's strategy was pretty simple: big packages, big price tags. To get the 777-200 LRF base package, you had to pay $139.99. And if you wanted to buy their 300ER expansion, it costed you another $29.99. But this made sense because the market was a lot more smaller, more specialized, and options were pretty limited. Today though, Flight Sim's world looks completely different. In fact, we're seeing nearly 5,000 add-ons since the launch of MSFS 2020. That's roughly 3.5 new products every single day for almost 48 months straight. Make no bones about it, the competition is more fierce now, and users have more choices than ever before. So you'd expect PMDG to adapt their strategy for this new market, right? But here's when things get interesting, especially when you look at exactly what you're getting with their new 777 freighter compared to other developers in 2024. On PMDG's own feature lists, 80% of what's in the 777 freighter matches their 777-300ER exactly. Same flight management computer, same electronic flight bag, same controls, same engines, and yes, the same electrical systems. The key differences though, a cargo door and some ground equipment for $54.99. Meanwhile, Fenix has been taking a completely different approach. Their A320, which costs less than PMDG's 777-300ER, includes both CFM and IAE engine variants, full GSX integrations, and cabin systems that actually respond to your aircraft state in real time. And when they released their A319 and A321 expansion packs for $50, they didn't just give you a simple model swap either. Each variant is completely unique. Different flight models, different engine options, and a completely remodeled fuel system. Plus the A321 has its own wing tanks and jet pumps. Even newer developers like iFly have been pushing the boundaries. Their latest 737 MAX comes with a fully interactive cabin and interactive overhead bins, window shades that work, and custom cabin lighting systems. Not to mention the fact that they did the one thing that nobody in the flight sim community has done before, where they completely modeled the toilets. Plus, iFly partnered with Boris Audio Works to create a complete 3D audio environment. Walk from the cabin to the cockpit and you'll hear the engine noise change realistically. Every switch has its own authentic sound. Even the wing flex has been carefully tuned to match the real-world behavior of the 737 MAX. And they're already promising free upgrades for MSFS 2024. Speaking of MSFS 24, it's completely changed what users expect from their flight simulator. The base simulator, for example, now includes a modestly modeled 737 MAX 8 by default, something that would have been a premium add-on just a few years ago. And while PMDG says that they intend to provide free updates for MSFS 24, there's a catch that many in the community are worried about. On the 6th of December 2024, Randazzo, PMDG's CEO and founder, released a statement that raised some red flags. While PMDG is promising free updates for MSFS 24, he immediately followed this with several caveats. According to his forum post, This free update path depends entirely on Microsoft's marketplace policies, and if those policies don't align with PMDG's expectations, customers may have to pay what they're calling a minimum purchase requirement. What's more concerning, however, is the fact that the 777 freighter being sold right now isn't even compatible with MSFS 24. PMDG can't even start working on the update until Microsoft fixes some development tools. So essentially, you're being asked to spend $54.99 on an aircraft that only works in the older simulator, with no firm timeline for when it will work in the new one, and no absolute guarantee that the upgrade will even be free. And this uncertainty becomes even worse when you look at how developers are handling the transition. Take iFly, for example. They're already promising unconditional free updates for MSFS 24, and they aren't the only ones. Fenix, on the other hand, have already released MSFS 24 compatibility as a free update, and they're being incredibly cautious and transparent with the community. Instead of charging for an aircraft that may or may not work in MSFS 24, they've updated their A320 for free, rebuilt it with the new SDK, and are already introducing new 2024 features. And what's really telling, they're so focused on customer satisfaction that they're calling it experimental until they're completely confident in the platform's stability. They're not even advertising 2024 compatibility in their store because they don't want to take customers' money without a 100% smooth experience. Meanwhile, any builds are showing how MSFS 24 updates should be handled too. In fact, their approach is brilliantly simple. Everyone gets a free update to keep their aircraft flying in the simulator, but if you want the cutting-edge features MSFS 24 brings to the table, there's an optional paid upgrade. There isn't the uncertainty of we intend to do X and Y, and there isn't any minimum purchase requirements, just clear choices for customers like you or me. If you want to keep the aircraft you bought, that's not a problem. But if you want the latest and greatest functionality and features, that's an option too. It's the kind of transparent approach that builds trust, and it's exactly what's missing from PMDG's strategy. Now let's talk about what you actually get for your money in 2024, because this really puts things into perspective. With the Fenix A320, it's completely plug and play and everything works as it should. GSX integration means smooth ground services, the cabin comes alive through announcements, and you have Navigraph built into the EFB. Everything you need is there, ready to go, with a few subscriptions of course. Now look at what PMDG offer. There aren't any cabin announcements, something that we all love in modern aircraft add-ons. They do, however, have Navigraph and SimBrief integration, but it's more focused on ease of use. Click a button and your route appears. Click another and your payload is set. It gets the job done, sure, but it's missing the layer of depth and realism that most of us in the community have come to expect, especially when it comes to premium payware products. And the numbers make this even more striking. We compiled all of the prices and products in the marketplace for MSFS, and PMDG's average price across their lineup sits at $71.99. Their 777-300ER costs $89.99. Their 737-700 and 800 sits at $82.99. The 777 Freighter is $54.99, and even their 737-600 costs $41.99. On the other hand, Fenix's entire A320 family, including the A319 and A321 expansions, averages just $55. Aerosoft's CRJ, another decent airliner, costs $59.99, and Anybuild's highly detailed A300 sits at $53.51, which includes both passenger and cargo variants at no extra cost, all of which show a clear industry standard that PMDG seems to be ignoring. So when PMDG charges $54.99 for what's essentially a variant of their existing 777 with uncertain MSFS 24 compatibility, fewer features than their competitors, and less integration with popular add-ons, you have to start wondering, are they really adapting to today's market? Make no bones about it, PMDG are still up there when it comes to flight sim development, but they're at a crossroads. The community's reaction to the 777 Freighter's pricing shows that reputation alone isn't enough anymore, especially when newcomers are delivering more features, more integration, more quality, and constant updates at a much lower price tag. The numbers clearly tell a story, and while the flight sim market has evolved to offer more value and features than ever before, PMDG's pricing strategy seems to be stuck in the P3D era. In a market with over 15 million users, developers need to deliver more quality than ever before. They need to offer real value, useful integration, and above all else, certainty. And right now, PMDG is falling short of all three of these. But what do you think? Is PMDG's pricing fair given the quality? Or should they match competitors like Fenix? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more flight sim content that cuts through the BS, and we'll see you in the next one.